All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into what is basically a high-stakes legal drama straight out of the book of Acts. And this isn't just some old story, It's really a masterclass in courtroom strategy, political spin, and what it looks like to stand firm when the truth itself is on trial. So let's get into it. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll set the scene with the showdown in Caesarea. Then, we'll look at the opposition's really organized attack and this clever threefold legal trap they set. After that, we'll see this incredible twist from prison to platform. And finally, we'll land on the verdict for today, what this all means for us.
All right, part one, a showdown in Caesarea. So our story kicks off in Caesarea, which was basically the Roman headquarters for Judea. The Apostle Paul, he's just been hauled here under armed guard after a massive riot in Jerusalem, and now he's about to stand trial before the Roman governor, a guy named Felix. Now, right away, the first clue that something is up here is the timing. It takes five full days for Paul's accusers to even show up from Jerusalem. And that gap, that 5-day gap, is so important. It tells you this wasn't just some angry mob acting on impulse. Oh no. This was a calculated, carefully prepared legal assault. They were taking their time to get all their ducks in a row.
And believe me, they were not messing around. Just look at the team they put together. You've got Ananias, the high priest himself, elders from the Sanhedrin, the most powerful religious council, and get this, they even hired a professional lawyer, a guy named Tertullus, a Roman legal orator. We're talking about the first-century equivalent of bringing in a high-powered, big-city law firm. They were coming to win, and they wanted a slam-dunk conviction.
Okay, so the stage is set. Let's dive into part two, the opposition's organized attack. So Tertullus, the lawyer, he steps up to make his case. But you know what's interesting? He doesn't start with the facts or the evidence. Nope. He starts with flattery. Just listen to this. He really lays it on thick, praising Governor Felix, saying, "We have enjoyed a long period of peace under you, and your foresight has brought about reforms. We acknowledge this with profound gratitude, most excellent Felix." I mean, wow. It's a classic move, right? Butter up the judge before you try to convict the defendant. But here's the thing. There's a huge disconnect between what he's saying and who Felix actually was. Because you see, the real Governor Felix, he was anything but a bringer of peace. I mean, history tells us this guy was known for being corrupt and for ruling with an incredibly harsh hand. The so-called peace Tertullus is talking about, yeah, that was the peace you get from an iron-fisted, brutal rule. So this flattery, it's not just a little white lie, it's a completely manipulative, strategic move designed to get the judge on their side. And this is so crucial. This opening move reveals their entire game plan. They are 100% willing to use these worldly manipulative tactics to just completely distort the truth, all to achieve their one single goal, to silence Paul and the message of the gospel he's carrying. Okay, so that brings us to the core of their case. Part 3. The threefold legal trap. Let's see how they build on that foundation of flattery with 3 very specific charges, and each one is designed to be a legal trap that Felix, as a Roman governor, simply could not ignore. So before he even gets to the specific charges, Tertullus uses this one really powerful Greek word to describe Paul, limos. Now, this doesn't just mean troublemaker or something simple like that. No, it means a pestilence, a plague. He is literally painting Paul as a dangerous disease that's infecting the entire Roman Empire, a public menace that has to be stamped out. And from there, he launches into their 3-pronged attack. First, sedition, a direct threat to Rome. Second, heresy, a threat to religion. And third, sacrilege, a threat to the temple itself. Do you see the strategy here? They're not arguing theology. They're framing this as a series of criminal threats that Rome has to deal with. It's brilliant, in a very cunning way. Let's break them down one by one. Okay, so first up, sedition. The claim, Paul stirs up riots all over the world. The goal, to paint him as a threat to the Pax Romana, the famous Roman peace. That's a huge deal for a governor. Second, heresy.
They call him the ringleader of the Nazarene sect, which was a pretty derogatory term. The goal here was to frame Christianity as some illegal, unrecognized cult and, this is key, to strip it of any legal protections that Judaism had under Roman law. And finally, the big one, sacrilege. They accused him of trying to desecrate the temple, which was a capital offense. And what's the goal of that charge? To justify the mob's own violence against him and to demand the death penalty.
And then, just to hammer the point home, after Tertullus finishes this masterful, manipulative speech, the entire delegation, we're talking the high priest, the elders, the whole crew, they all stand up and basically say, yep, everything he just said is true. Imagine that, a powerful, unified front of absolute false testimony.
So, the charges are on the table. They're backed by the highest religious authorities in the land. I mean, things look incredibly bleak for Paul. But this is the moment where the whole situation takes a really stunning, providential turn. Let's get into part 4, from prison to platform.
I mean, you have to wonder, right? With a high-powered lawyer spinning lies and the entire Sanhedrin backing him up, is this it? Is this the end of the line for Paul's mission? Is he going to end up condemned in a Roman prison by his own people?
No way. Absolutely not. And this is the ultimate beautiful irony of the whole story. See, their goal was to lock Paul up in a prison cell and shut him up for good. But God's plan? It was to give him a global pulpit. They wanted legal silence. God wanted royal testimony. This trial, this moment of intense, organized opposition, it was never a roadblock. It was actually a divinely appointed platform to bring the gospel message directly into the halls of Roman power.
So, what a story, right? Just incredible legal drama. But you might be wondering, why does this courtroom scene from nearly 2,000 years ago matter to any of us right here, right now? Well, that brings us to part 5, the verdict for today.
Well, it matters because what we see here is essentially a timeless playbook for how to stand firm when you're faced with false accusations. Think about it. The tactics they used against Paul, the spin, the flattery, framing the truth as some kind of public threat, those tactics are still being used all the time today. And Paul's experience gives us a really powerful strategy for how to handle it.
So what is that strategy? What's the playbook we can take from this? Well, first, it's to stand calm, to trust God even in the middle of a trial. And from that calm place, we can start to discern the lies, to see exactly how the truth is being twisted. That helps us prepare thoroughly, to know the specific charges we're up against. And that, in turn, allows us to leverage any platform we're given, to turn what feels like a trial into a testimony. And all of this is wrapped up in this deep trust in providence, this belief that God can use any system, any situation, for His ultimate purpose.
So here's the final thought I want to leave you with. At some point, we all face our own Tertullus. You know, someone who misrepresents us, our motives, our beliefs. And the real question isn't if you'll face that kind of opposition, it's how you'll respond when you do. So when you face your Tertullus, how will you turn your trial into a testimony?